So, for any of you watching the videos on our YouTube channel, those guys on the radio, that's the phone ringing. But it's okay, don't worry about that. For any of you listening to the podcast, you're hearing a random phone ringing in the background. What matters is this, guys. If you're watching the videos on YouTube, then you're clearly seeing a difference in a camera angle, shot, anything. Don't worry about that. We're totally recording this at the exact same time that we normally do. That we did the other few videos. So in no way is this a gap at all. Right, Tristan? Right?
You don't need to see our camera angles.
Yeah. Alright, so what are we talking about right now? Well, on YouTube, you know. But you don't know if you're listening to the podcast. So we're talking about Paramount has apparently picked up Sonic the Hedgehog film rights. Now, for some of you Sonic fans out there, you're like, wow, that sounds amazing. An animated Sonic film. Well, you're half right. It's going to be an animated Sonic the Hedgehog film, yes. So we're not getting, a guy painted blue, right, to be Sonic. So yes, animation. But an animated / human, i.e. real person hybrid, a la something like the Smurfs movie or Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, now I'm just imagining them fuse.
Well, guess what? Here's the funny thing, right?
It's terrifying.
Let's be real here. Those three, both Smurfs and both Alvin and the Chipmunks got 3 movies. 3. So in no way are the films not successful.
True.
Now, of course, it's obviously a different... I mean, right? You're like, wait a minute, what? You're like, he's Googling it right now. He's just like, no!
I unfortunately remember.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that was my reaction. Mm-hmm. How did this get a 3rd?
Because here's a funny thing. The first one had Neil Patrick Harris, so I assume he's, carried everything, because he's amazing, right? Yeah. I don't remember who else was in the movie, but I know Neil Patrick Harris was, and I'm like, oh, this should... And I don't think I hated the first Smurfs. I don't know if I ever saw it. But I know I did not dislike the first Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. But man, there's 3 of them, though.
I used to like the old cartoon.
Yes, of course. I love the original cartoon as well. And I've seen clips from the newer Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoon, and it's actually not half bad. It's actually kind of funny. But my point is, guys, is that... It's a bit different, though, because obviously, Sonic is a 90s property, been around for a very long time, but I feel like when you're trying to include live action with, animated characters, I think it worked with Smurfs and with Alvin and Chipmunks because it was aimed at a lot of kids. And, of course, the parents that knew the properties from the 80s said, oh, man, I want to take my kids to go see this. Because, I loved it as a kid, and they're saying they like it. And, apparently, again, it made enough money to have 3 each franchise, right? But with Sonic the Hedgehog, even though, yes, if you were a teenager in the 90s, now you're in your 30s, you have kids. But with all the, even though it was still animated, 3D rendering, with all the negative attention towards the... Sonic having a human love interest in some of the and just and all that stuff. I feel like this is not the best idea. Now now here's the thing: a movie, not a bad idea at all. Yeah. Right? I'm super excited for the idea of having a Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise. A la, a lot of other superhero franchises that exist. It would be cool to have a Knuckles exclusive movie, a Shadow exclusive movie. So thinking of that kind of potential, right? I'm really hyped for that idea. But to say that it happens in the real world and that there's real people walking around, I don't get it.
Sonic the Hedgehog presented by Marvel.
Right. Well,
just thinking of all the branching movies,
right.
One-offs. Oh God.
But you see what I'm saying though, right? Like I don't the reason why, and I know I'm going to Nintendo now, but the reason why something like Detective Pikachu works is because it's a comedy. We're supposed to laugh at the idea that there's a talking detective Pikachu going around speaking to humans, and then there's this human. I don't know what's gonna happen in a live action movie, but there's this human kid in the games. It's just like, are you Pikachu? And then, you have, the other, the actual Detective Pikachu going, what, you think I look like him? So it's
Matt,
yeah, right? Yeah.
He is a serious law enforcement agent.
Ex-
This is no laughing matter.
right, I'm sorry, that's true. I shouldn't patronize Detective Pikachu.
Exactly.
Right, no, but you see what I mean though, right? So I don't know what they're gonna do with real people. Now here's the thing: if they're animated people, like if this is like if they kept it in the animated realm, but they were quote unquote real people, but they were animated like in the games. I it's pushing it, but that's not the worst case scenario. I think that live action hybrid is a worst case scenario, and I don't think it's going to do well. I want it to do well, but I don't think it's going to do well. What are your thoughts on that, Tristan?
All I can see is The Rock playing Knuckles.
No, you see, no. Here's why I don't want to see that. Because two reasons. One, in my opinion, The Rock would be the live action person to save the movie.
Probably.
The Rock traveling around with Sonic, Knuckles, and amazing, right? Now, here's who I want to be Knuckles' voice. If we're gonna go, like, if we're gonna have to pick, like, oh no, it has to be a celebrity. It can't be like just a good voice actor. It has to be a celebrity voice actor. Either John Cena, since you brought up wrestlers, or if not John Cena as Knuckles, I want like Channing Tatum. Or, it's funny. If we're going for, I don't know why we're keeping it in generic white man land, but let's go for Marky Mark. If not, we'll go for the trifecta here. The Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's funny though. According to John Cena, I think when he was in Trainwreck, he said, I look like Mark Wahlberg ate Mark Wahlberg. And I was like, that's a beautiful line.
Oh, God.
But in all seriousness though, like,
I would like to see some, because I could only imagine seeing Sonic, spinning around on screen doing all sorts of crazy shit. That would be cool.
Yes.
But I like the franchise. I never really gotten into Sonic, so I haven't played, so I'm not like a huge fan or anything, but like I'm pretty easygoing. I like to give things a chance. Like, I would like to give this a chance, but if they're going outside of just animation, like you said before, I don't.
Well, that's what the article. Well, that's what the article says. It's a live action / animation hybrid.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, right? So, like, you and I don't mean to bring this up to belittle you, I'm being serious here. You and I have a big difference in opinion when it comes to the Super Mario Brothers movie, right? But the reason why I bring it up, though, is because even though it was in the 80s, still, do you think the movie would have been better if all of the, characters were animated other than everyone else in New York? Like, putting 80s special effects aside, that hurts, Like, just having and it's funny because, of course, we have Super Mario Odyssey recently came out, and it's basically Mario at his same height, walking around with other people, just chilling in, like, what basically is New York. But again, that's a video game.
Yeah.
Right? In a video game that works, and also, again, Nintendo, not that Sonic, you can't laugh with Sonic, but Sonic is kind of meant to be more edgy, if you will. In my opinion, anyway, from what I've seen, I know that's mostly relegated to not even Knuckles, to Shadow.
Shadow.
Shadow
is the PG-13 one.
Yeah. But still, though, the way Sonic was marketed, the way they marketed him in the '90s to go up against Nintendo, Sega does what Nintendo don't, all that stuff. They were trying to hit the edgy teen market, and I feel like, unless they're going to make it a comedy a la, a lot of these newer Marvel films and stuff like that, not just with that whole shared universe crazy idea that I made up. I made up the idea of like a Knuckles and Shadow movie. That's nothing to do with this article. But if they do make it a comedy, then fair. I think it can blend in well with the live action stuff if they're trying to make it funnier. But if they're trying to make it more serious, the way some of the later games were, and obviously even Sonic Adventure was serious, let's be real here, right? But I don't think it'll work with the live action parts of it, and I don't want people to either laugh out of the theater, going, oh man, those live action parts, nor do I want it to be critically panned and then kind of make it seem like it's just some dumb video game movie.
Sure.
Like, I don't want that to happen. I would love for Sonic to be able to get a good adaptation, and for Sega to be able to have this, Because Sega can do a bunch of different characters. Well, it can start with Sonic, but if it does well enough, you can bring other Sega franchises to the big screen as well. So, or at least a little screen and have them cross over in some way or another. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm not saying that we should have like a Sonic the Hedgehog animated series either. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, we need that more than we need this. It's just that I don't know what story you're gonna tell. I don't know if they're thinking of it as a quote unquote origin story. Like what's like what I'm saying? Like what do you do? Like they have to. Like I have to imagine that they're just gonna sit there and be like, no, Sonic exists. Everyone knows that he exists. Let's all move on. Oh no, Eggman is doing some shit.
One day, Eggman was in his lab trying to create the recipe for the perfect little hedgehog when he accidentally added the
chemical edge. So I don't hate the idea of a movie. I just think that this will flop horribly if it's
comes to light
as a live action hybrid.
Right.
If they keep it in the realm of animation, I think it can flourish, and I think it can do really well. And I know that I want to see it regardless, but I want to see it. I want to go into it with not with a oh god, I hope it's gonna be okay feeling. Like I want to go into it with like a Sonic movie. All right, let's see what happens here. Cool. Versus like, oh, there's live action portions. Well then, but also I have to admit, again, like I said earlier, if they're gonna do live action, they gotta go balls to the wall crazy. You get The Rock. You get a bunch of other action stars. You get like Schwarzenegger in there. Stallone. Like you make it like you gotta go nuts. Because if you don't, like you gotta have like Sonic the Hedgehog fighting like Schwarzenegger in a robot. You gotta go crazy. Alright?
I mean Tails uses the robots, but whatever.
No, Eggman gets a bunch of random generals and robots to just fucking go nuts on the towns. That's what I'm saying, yeah. So Sonic versus like Schwarzenegger in a robot. Or
Sonic versus the Terminator.
Yeah, basically. Or you end up getting someone to be Eggman himself. Right. So like how fucking crazy would it be if you had animated characters for Sonic or animated models for Sonic and Tails and whatever else. But when it comes to Eggman, it's played by like fucking William Dafoe. Or just going nuts, right? I think that would be funny. Or Jim Carrey. I know, or Jim Carrey or someone. Because again, if you're gonna involve live action, which I'm not for, but if you are, you can't be light on the craziness of it. You can't try to go for a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.